Well, let me start by saying that the executive have not even led by example, because at the end of the day, the buck stops at the president's table. The other day, Mr. Tinubu was going to Lagos. We counted over 80 cars in the convoy. So if you say they've cut down anything, that's a cruel and a huge joke. Now, even among the ministers, we understand each of them drives about 4 or 5 SUVs. And that's why the members of the National Assembly are saying, in the order of precedence and protocol, that they are far above those ministers. And that why would anybody complain that they are simply driving one SUV when these people are driving 3 or 4? So in essence, it's even beyond the legislature. The executive have not led by example. You saw the issue of the Rossini Committee report, which was brought up. It's been 2-3 months or thereabouts since it was brought up, and nothing has happened. And even if you look at, you are calling for prudence. Look at the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs who was asked to go, and the committee was set up, and they were given about 2-3 weeks to report back. Where is the minister? Has she been sacked? Has she been recalled? Everything is in limbo. Is that there is so much procrastination. Now, for me, the challenge with the economy is about the way the policies were sequenced and managed. For instance, the president from Eagle Square turned out that fuel subsidy is gone. At the time, he had no advisors. At the time, the ministers were not there. This is not a policy you announce from Eagle Square. It's a policy you sit down, and the great minds will do the projections. If we remove this subsidy, what will be the outcome? If we are planning palliatives, or if we are planning some things to, reduce the effect of the subsidy, what are those things? Those things should have been rolled out from day one. You don't wait for 1 year to begin to talk about rolling out CNG vehicles. Even as you are saying, okay, public sector, don't buy petrol-powered vehicles again. Where are even the filling stations that will deliver the CNG, assuming you buy all the cars today driven by the public sector? Maybe NNPC filling stations will do 1 or 2 in Abuja or in Lagos. And then if you are traveling from Abuja to Kano or to Lagos, the CNG finishes in the middle of nowhere. So policies are being rolled out without them being thought through, without them having committees that will strictly implement them, and without opportunities for what is called course correction. If you are going in this direction, and as you are going, you discover there is a challenge, you can make a detour. You can have that course correction. So even the figures that are being rolled out by the official agencies like the NBS, when you talk about inflation, those figures do not even actually tell Nigerians the extent of the rot in terms of inflation. Because I know most of the goods and services we are using, even if it is food, bag rice that was about 30,000 or there about 30-something thousand, suddenly went to 80-something thousand, 90. It has doubled the price and almost tripling. And you are telling me the inflation rate is still 30% or 30-something percent. Excuse me, we all went to school. We know what is 30%. If you are doing 100 and suddenly you add 30, it's 30%. Not when you are doing 100 and it doubles, 200, it gets to 300. You are still reporting 30% to me. So a whole lot of things have not been thought through. Whether it's the removal of the fuel subsidy and what should follow, whether it's also the floating of the Naira. I had expected that when the Naira was floated, and the president took the portfolio of the petroleum minister, because he's the substantive petroleum minister, I thought he has something up his sleeves to make sure we begin to at least meet our OPEC quota, or at least meet the budgetary quota that we set. For instance, this year we set about 1.7 or 1.7 something million barrels a day. We are still doing 1.2, 1.3. So as far as the budget is done, the budget is dead on arrival, because the revenue projections are dead on arrival. Okay, they are not meeting up. So how do you want to meet up? We are still doing ways and means, despite all the story we've had that it will have stopped. So in essence, nobody is sitting down. I would have thought by now that there would have been like a committee made up of fiscal policy, monetary policy, and trade policy, meeting from time to time, okay, to look at what is happening on all sides and be able to harmonize them and put them in one pack that will work for the betterment of the economy. Right. For instance, today, the president is assessing his ministers. Who is going to assess the Minister of Petroleum? And the Minister of Petroleum supplies up to 90% of our foreign exchange earnings. And if we today increase our take or from foreign exchange, from petroleum, to like say 2 million barrels a day, or 1.8 million barrels a day, consistently for a period of 6 months, I bet you the Naira will come back under 1,000. It will stabilize, because that's the easiest way. And the biggest way we've been earning foreign exchange. So what I'm saying in essence is that A lot of work needs to be done, which has not been done, and the buck stops at the president's table.